Hello, BookTube. I have a tag for you on Tag Tuesday. I saw something on Harriet Rosie's channel, and she's the creator of it. I also saw Olive at a Book Olive do it. And as far as I know, neither one of them tagged me because they hate me because I smell. But I thought I'd do this anyway because it's nice and quick and it's very interesting. I'm hoping that a lot of you will do it as well if you haven't already. It's the genre book tag. So it involves all of us. And question number one is simply, what is your favorite genre? What are your favorite genres? And for me, as you know, if you've watched this channel, it's biography. That is by far my favorite genre. There's nothing I like better than either a big, fat biography that covers everything, or a slim, dagger sharp biography that also covers everything, but does so in a very epigrammatic way. But also history. Obviously, they go hand in hand. I love history as well. Those history and biography are by far my two favorite genres. And question number two is your least favorite genre. And for me, they would be, there are two that come to mind, but they're sort of flip sides of the same coin. One is self-help, just books that are designed to make the author money by selling you nostrums. And the other is business motivation, so not economics and not technical business books, but rather business motivation of the type of, here's how you talk to your customer, here's how you get a sale, here's how you make personal relations or whatnot. I read, for reviewing purposes, an enormous number of both of these things. They are co-joined twins. They are the same kind of thing. They are pop psychology for psychopaths. They're meant to convey ordinary human empathy and understanding to people who've somehow grown up without it. So, and as a result, I've just almost never read a volume from either one of them that did anything for me at all. And so they definitely count as my least favorite. Then question number 3, 4, and 5, I'm going to wrap together here. There aren't many questions, but my answer to question number 3 sort of spills over, as gross as that's going to seem to you once we finish. Number 3 is a genre that you want to try. And a part of me does want to try this. I saw it on Dominic Noble's channel. He's not actually BookTube. He's sort of BookTube adjacent. He doesn't do any of the things that BookTube does, but he does talk about books. He's found that his viewers really like it when he goes examining a certain kind of book, and he was pointed in the direction of something called the Omegaverse, online adult fiction set in a vast, very multi-purpose alternate reality in which there are three kinds of men. There are alphas, who are tall and brawny and rippling and dominant and run the world and have all the major jobs. And then there are, and then there are sort of beta men. They're sort of ordinary people, ordinary human men. And then there are omegas, who are submissive and pliant and, and who are able to get pregnant. These are men who are able to get pregnant. Actually pregnant. Nothing metaphorical about it. And the Omegaverse, sometimes some of the novels that are in the Omegaverse have no women in them at all. Sometimes there are women in them, and they're just a reworking of what society would be like if men could also get pregnant and form intense psychic bonds with each other. And Dominic Noble, I'll leave a link to his video down below. He does a great job exploring the various worlds of the Omegaverse, and he did such a great job. I had no idea that it existed, and he did such a great job that he actually made me want to read an example of this. But question number 4 is a genre you don't want to try, and that's the exact same answer. His video made me want to read an example of this stuff, but it also grossed me out in such a way. There are such obvious, massive psychological issues involved in even creating such a thing, much less exploring it, much less writing a book in it. That a part of me does not want to read it either. I mean, it in a way, it intrigues me, but in another way, I wouldn't want to meet any of these authors. Either you are using this extremely niche splinter genre for financial reasons. I can't believe that would be true. Or I think you have some serious issues to work out between yourself and the world, one way or another. I, so that is also a genre that I don't want to try. And question number 5 is a genre that you're not sure about. It'd be the exact same thing. I don't know what I think about the Omega verse. I suppose the only real way to know. I mean, I trust Dominic. I like the way he thinks about books. He seems to give them a fair shake even when they creep him out. But nevertheless, I think the only way that I would actually be sure, one way or another, would be to read one of these books, maybe a novella, something like that, where I could get a feel for them. Although I have a feeling, since the Omegaverse isn't a shared reality in the normal sense, the impression I get is that the only thing that binds these stories together is that there is the ability for a certain class of men to get pregnant. And that other than that, you can have a murder mystery, science fiction, supernatural romance, shapeshifters are big in this world. You can do anything you like. With just that is the baseline is the Omegaverse, and so I guess there's a wide variety to choose from. I'm not sure I would want to. I guess the upshot of these 3 questions put together is that I am probably destined to download and read one of these things and just see what it's like. And that's not going to be enough, obviously. If I download one of these things to see what it's like, and let's say I don't like it, then my first reaction is going to be, well, how do you know that it's any good? You're going to read just one example? No, you're going to have to read more to get an idea of what this is. And next thing you know, I'll have my e-reader full of tentacle porn. Let's just move on, shall we? Question number 6 is a genre blend that you love. That noise that you hear is my little dog digging on the bed. This is in every video now. So she just digs on the bed because she likes to stomp her way up to the top of the bed and then just sort of very matter-of-factly wedge herself, just sort of fall in a wedge against me and go, because I'm just a piece of furniture. She likes to do that. She'll look around when I set myself up, either on the pillows or on the couch. It's freezing cold here in Boston, so there's no couch time out there. When I set myself up on the pillows, I set myself up, I get the tablet ready, the laptop ready, the book or a number of books ready. I get it all ready right here. I lean back, and then she finishes whatever she's doing, stomps up to the top, right next to me, right around my hip, and wedges herself in there and goes, and when I'm making a video, she can't do that. So she has decided just recently that she's going to protest every time I do that until I become a piece of furniture again. But anyway, the question was a genre blend you love. And for me, it's historical romance. I have virtually a whole bookcase of historical romance. Now, quite a few of these are Regency romances, but quite a few of them are not as well. What do I have here? I've got The Wrong Highlander, probably set in the 19th century. I've got some. Here's an old Harlequin historical romance, One Night in Venice, Knight. There is our couple. Huh? Do we have an inside picture? No, we don't. This is an old style Harlequin historical romance, but I mean, I have a lot of romances that aren't historical, but that is a blend that I really like. I like historical fiction just in general, but historical romance, it's my favorite kind of romance. Much though I have some romance friends, a couple of actually more, about half a dozen romance writers that I know and I correspond with, and also Sarah at Steeped in Books, a great romance channel here on BookTube, who either explicitly or implicitly are trying to get me to read more contemporary romance, and I am reading more of it and liking it. I just read one that I actually did kind of, yeah, this thing right here, Just a Heartbeat Away, which I kind of liked, even though there are no Vikings anywhere in it. so I'm going to say historical romance. And then question number 7, the last question, is a genre-defying book. And this book has actually come up recently on this channel. It's by Evan S. Connell, and it's called Deus Lo Volt, God Wills It. And it's a book about the Crusades that is technically a novel, but it doesn't read like it. It's technically a novel, but it reads like Evan S. Connell's approximation of Crusade accounts, contemporary crusade accounts, like the kinds that we have seen in my March of the Penguins. It reads like that. It is intentionally pitched to read like that, in a way that is based on a huge amount of research and that can easily cross the line into some sort of pastiche of nonfiction, as opposed to, I guess the point I'm trying to make, and that's a point that I find myself making with quite a bit of Evan S. Connell's fiction, is that it doesn't really work as fiction. It works, definitely. Absolutely it does. But it's a weird blend. I know that I'm pretty sure that the publisher just simply categorizes it as fiction. But I defy you to read it and think that that's simply what it is, that it's just a historical novel about the Crusades. Instead, it was pitched to read like a newly discovered account of the Crusades by someone who was there. Written the same viewpoint with it. It's very, very strange. So I'm going to use that. And that is the genre book tag. All that would ordinarily be left for me to do at this point would be to tag people, but in the current state of things, even on a Tag Tuesday, I'm not 100% sure who out there in our little corner of BookTube is up for tags. I don't want to tag you if you're not. There are plenty of people who are stuck at home. There are plenty of people who are miserable about being stuck at home. There are plenty of people who are worried about their world, their livelihood, their loved ones. Tagging people in a circumstance like that, just I will fall back on the BookTube standard. If you see this tag and you want to do it, I strongly encourage you, because I would love to know the answers to these questions from all of you. I have a vague idea, some of you a very precise idea of what kind of genres you like and don't like, but I'm always willing to hear examples and talk about it. So I'll just leave it at that. If you see this, then I want you to do it, despite the fact that you smell. So I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.